What up guys, today I'm going to be talking about the stupid training concepts and methods throughout Dragon Ball Super. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what do I mean by this? You guys are probably confused by the title itself and, the description that I'm giving out right now in this video. So I'm going to explain it a little bit more so you guys can kind of understand, because I know it is a little bit confusing, but I'm going to go in depth into it and try to explain it as best as possible. Now, when I talk about training concepts and methods, I basically mean when characters like Goku and Vegeta are trying to get stronger and progress throughout either their new transformations or just with their power in general. They try to find better training methods to improve their physicality and their abilities, right? And we sometimes have characters like Whis teaching them, or now even Beerus, and we see these different concepts and methods. We see this throughout, all animes, especially Battle Shonen animes, where we have these moments where these characters are trying to get even more powerful than they were before, or they've obtained a new transformation but are struggling on how to use it properly, or technique, or whatever, And then there's these concepts or methods on how to train yourself properly to obtain more power, or how to control their power, right? And we've seen this throughout Dragon Ball. First instance I can mention is, or think of, is when Whis first came down to Earth, and Vegeta was, begging Whis to take him and train him, because Goku at this point just unlocked Super Saiyan God and far surpassed Vegeta. He was already past Vegeta's a level of power with Super Saiyan 3 alone, and Vegeta felt the gap was already big enough there, and it got even bigger with him obtaining Super Saiyan God. So for him to get stronger, he knew he had to train with Whis to get stronger. And as he's talking to Whis and he's begging for him to train him, Whis mentioned something about, controlling his ki, saying if you can control the ki and, trap it within you, then you can obtain godly ki. And as we saw throughout the training between both Goku and Vegeta off screen getting, Super Saiyan God, we get explained more on how to obtain Super Saiyan God and, God Ki in general. Because from what we were explained before this, when, just the movie came out, the Battle of Gods movie came out, and I think also Resurrection of F, we were told that what Goku obtained with Super Saiyan God was now he has godly ki, which is beyond regular ki, and Beerus always had godly ki. And we were like, okay, so what is godly ki? We know it's more powerful than regular ki, we know it's more superior to it, especially in Battle of Gods. At that point we were just looking at it saying, oh, so godly ki is a level well above regular ki, and is something that far transcends it, right? And then Resurrection of F came around, and it kind of muddled things up, because Frieza, when he came back, he surpassed both Goku and Vegeta, who have obtained new transformations that went beyond Super Saiyan God itself, meaning that they had mastered and controlled the godly ki within their body, right? Meaning that they got godly ki, which is dimensions above regular ki. But Frieza was able to not only match these characters, but surpass them with regular ki. So now we're like, wait. I thought godly ki means that you would be in a higher level of dimensional power compared to regular ki, right? And we're like, so apparently you can surpass it with regular ki, but you just need even more, which makes, godly ki not that impressive, right? And Vegeta was apparently able to obtain the Super Saiyan God transformation without a ritual and without the whole holding hands thing, and he was able to get it just through sheer training and power alone. And we were just like, wait. They first told us that you need this crazy ritual, which makes sense if you're going to obtain some godly power. Having a ritual makes sense, and makes it more, godly and more divine and cooler, if I'm being honest. But now we're told that no, you can also train to obtain it, and then there's characters who can train and get stronger than that still with regular ki. So there was a lot of confusion, right? Then Dragon Ball Super came out, and then we had, Whis explaining the difference. And apparently, godly ki is not different than regular ki. It is basically the same thing. The only difference is regular ki is basically them letting their energy leak out of their body. So when they power up or transform, you see their energy glowing around their body, and they leak out that energy, right? Whereas godly ki is basically just having that energy that leaks out of your body trapped within. And it was kind of confusing to some people, but from what I thought of it was kind of like a star, When a star is newly born, it has all that energy, pulsating out, right? But then when it's towards the end of its life and it dies, it collapses all that energy within itself, and even though it has the same amount of energy, it confines it into an even smaller space, and by doing so, it produces even further energy, making it even more devastating through a supernova, creating a black hole, or just a regular nova creating a white dwarf star, right? So that's how I kind of saw it, and it kind of made sense, but it was also kind of lame, in my opinion. And I did mention this in my why Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball, it was called Super Saiyan Blue Sucks video. I talked about why Super Saiyan Blue sucks, why, it hasn't really done anything impressive. It doesn't look really that cool. The name is kind of dumb. But the other thing that I had a really big problem with it was, the way that Goku and Vegeta were able to obtain this power and further their godly ki control by simply just containing that godly ki or regular ki within themselves that created godly ki. And I mentioned how that was stupid, and I'm going to go into that again in this video. But there was other training methods and concepts that have come out afterwards, which I personally don't like either. Some of you guys might like some of these ones, but I just don't like it. First, we had that. Then we go all the way to the Tournament of Power with the whole tingly feeling in their back stuff with the Super Saiyan. So they change up the concept of Super Saiyan, going from just having a rage boost and having a high enough level of power. So I think you need a certain power level. I think from what I heard, it was around like 10,000. Even though most people say that power levels are bullshit or whatever, it doesn't matter. You still needed a certain level of power, and then to be super angry, and then you can unlock Super Saiyan, right? But from what we got from Dragon Ball Super was that's not the case. All you need to do is condense all that energy to your back and have a tingly feeling in your back, and then you transform into a Super Saiyan, which a lot of people didn't like that concept. Then after that, we had also the whole stuff of the Super Saiyan Rage with Trunks, and then Berserk form for Kale, where basically these characters can obtain different Super Saiyan transformations by just getting angry. Apparently just getting angry can do that. So that was also, I guess, kind of another concept. But another solid concept that they made up was around the Tournament of Power also was Ultra Instinct. And I know a lot of people like Ultra Instinct. I do like it too. I like the design of it. I like the movement. I like the ability, but I just don't like the concept of Ultra Instinct. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, "What do you mean? The concept of it is pretty cool." But I just feel like it's dumb. And for me personally, I feel like somebody like Goku should have been able to do this well before that. It doesn't seem like something that's so complex that it should be so hard for somebody like Goku or Vegeta. And I will get into that a little bit too, because I have mentioned a couple of times on this channel, not fully in depth, but a little bit in this channel, why I personally don't like Ultra Instinct as a concept. I do like the design, I like the abilities that it has, but I just don't like the concept because I feel like it's not as impressive to me personally. Then we had, the whole Granola arc with the true Ultra Instinct thing. I do not like that concept either. I think that was pretty dumb. And I aired my grievances out about that too. Some people said that I was wrong because I mentioned that in Dragon Ball, in the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super, when Goku was fighting as Jiren, I stated that, well, even in his mastered state, he was angry and he was attacking him angrily, right? But a lot of people, brought to my attention that in the manga, apparently, he wasn't angry. He didn't get angry. We didn't see him getting angry in that form. So since it's going based off of the manga, that's not the case. But then I'm wondering, so they're not going to have it in the anime when it comes out, whenever it comes out, most possibly after Dragon Ball Magic or Daima, whatever they call it now. But yeah, I will get into that too. And then the most recent one was in Dragon Ball Super Superheroes with Vegeta, when he's talking to Goku saying, hey, look, the reason why Jiren was stronger than us wasn't because he was physically stronger than us. It was simply because he was able to control his ki better because he meditates, and his meditation trains his mind on top of it. Which Goku responded with a pretty stupid response, which doesn't make any sense because Goku's done this training method himself. But he responds with, why would you do that? What's the point of, meditating? How is that training? And it's like, dude, you literally did this yourself, dumbass. You did this before you came to Earth, in the Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, in the Buu Saga. Before he came there, he was literally meditating. So he's done this before, and we've seen the not after image training. What is that called? the mental training that we saw with both Krillin and Gohan. So they did mental training too, and they were doing these battle scenarios through the psychic battles, right? And we also see Piccolo doing it countless times throughout Dragon Ball Z, where he's just sitting there and meditating. So this is not a new concept either, and I don't know why they're acting like, this is some groundbreaking thing. It's like you're just revisiting the same old shit, but acting like it's new. I don't know why. So I want to talk about that too. I'm just talking about all those. So this is just basically me explaining what I'm talking about and all the instances that I'm going to be going through, talking about why I think these are dumb. And then I guess you can say, for another concept thing we can talk about is, um, I guess some of the training methods I guess we can go into too. I'm going to be talking about quite a bit of stuff in this video because there's a lot of dumb stuff. So you guys kind of get the gist of what I mean when I say training concept and stuff. Like these guys obtaining new transformations or these new abilities and either trying to get stronger or trying to master these abilities. And we get these concepts on how to do it, right? And what it takes and stuff. And for me personally, in this video, I'm going to be going more in depth in why I think it's dumb the way they've done it and my problems with it. So first, let's talk about Super Saiyan Blue and just the God Ki itself. I think when it first dropped out in Battle of Gods, our assumption was anybody who has regular ki cannot harm somebody with godly ki. The only way you could harm a godly being who has godly ki is with godly ki of your own, right? But from what it was shown in Resurrection of F that was not the case, and you can also obtain it without, doing some ritual like Goku did. And I did not like that idea. I mentioned that before too many times on this channel, where I stated that I prefer them just to keep it as a ritual because it makes the Super Saiyan God transformation and the Godly Ki far more, in essence, far more. I guess you can say prestigious and far more impressive because it's not something you can not naturally obtain. Because training is just such a basic thing to do. It's like, oh, just train and work harder and you can obtain it. It's like, okay, that is cool, but it was more unique and special with the ritual because it's like you can't just obtain it by simply just, fighting and, working harder. That's not how it works. So it made it more special. And then the whole idea of somebody with regular ki cannot hurt somebody with godly ki made the power scaling on another level, crazier. But then with the Frieza thing, obviously he didn't have it, so he was still able to hurt him, which I thought that was dumb. So I want to talk about that. Now, like I said, from what it was explained from Whis was apparently basically how you obtain godly ki is you just get your regular ki and trap it within your body. What does that mean? Usually when they power up, they let that energy leak out, and they just keep it trapped in. So it's basically just extreme ki control, where it's you power up, but you don't let that energy completely out of your body. You just let it surge within you, right? And I guess that's why it's hard to detect their energy signature of you don't have godly ki or haven't been trained to what godly ki or how to work it and stuff. But for me personally, one, it made the concept very stupid, and that made Goku and Vegeta seem like idiots. And two, it made it too simple, because if that's all it takes, that pretty much means that pretty much any of the Dragon Ball characters can obtain godly power and have this higher level of power by simply just contain that energy within their body. It isn't that special or unique. There's nothing really crazy you have to do. You just have to, master your ki control a little bit more. And the problem that I had that I mentioned in my Why Super Saiyan Blue Sucks video was that by doing so, it made Goku and Vegeta look like idiots, because what you would think with their amount of years of training and fighting and their, fighting strategic minds and their ability to, control and master ki control, because these guys can control their ki so well that they can, raise their power up and lower their power. They can lower their power so low to literally zero. Goku and the rest of the characters early on, even all the way back in the Saiyan Saga, could lower their power level to literally zero, or small enough to the point where even with something like the Scouters, they would pick it up and assume that it was a fruit fly. Their power level would be so low that they would be compared to a fruit fly. How the fuck do you do that? So they were able to control, the size of their energy, obviously maxing it out or minimizing it to regular levels, human levels, or nothing at all so they can hide their presence. So we saw a really great ki control right there. Then we've also seen them, minimize the blast radius, which we've seen in arguments quite a bit, saying that even though they don't destroy an entire planet every time they fire an energy attack, it's because that they can control their ki and minimize the damage and the size radius. They could create, energy barriers. They can shape their ki blasts and energy attacks many different ways. They can do many different stuff with their ki as they manipulate it. They can either turn into a disc, a sphere, a laser beam. Even for example, like Frieza's laser beams. Sometimes they pierce through things, sometimes they explode on impact, and that's because he can control the ki. He can either control it to an extent where if it hits the thing, it doesn't explode and it just goes through, or he can control it and say, hey, no, I'm going to make it explode. Or they can fire an attack and make it blow up as it's flying in midair, or even have energy attacks that follow people, like it follows their ki signatures and chases after them like a heat-seeking missile, right? So we've seen these characters have immensely great and impressive ki control abilities and training, right? So we've seen that throughout this years, but now we're hearing that for them to obtain such high level power, which Goku stated that he couldn't obtain this in millions of years without the whole ritual, now we're stated that, oh no, it's simple as just controlling your ki and, keeping it in. And my argument for that in that video was, you would expect somebody as advanced and technically sound-minded as Goku and Vegeta when it comes to fighting, as they would have thought of that before, and they've already shown insanely great ki control. The amount of things they can do with the control, you would think that they would have thought of that at some point at least, right? So personally, I just can't accept the fact that these guys that are these guys that are fighting geniuses, that have this great level and extent of ki control, that have been doing this for so long, would have never thought of doing something like this, like controlling their ki within their body. It just makes them seem stupid. It's just too simple. And to obtain such godly and divine power, such high level of power and the magnitude of that, by simply just saying, hey, keep it within, that's such a stupid and simplistic and really lazy concept, if I'm being honest. You need to make it more creative and clever, and that's what makes or breaks these transformations, these abilities, these techniques when it comes to these anime characters. When they get powered up, you want to see that, oh yeah, it took something that was very hard to do, something that's very complex, but then we get something simple like this, and it's like, these guys are supposed to be this great, but they're so stupid that they've never thought of this before, and I just don't buy it. I just feel like this is just stupid writing from Toriyama to be like, hey, look, I'm just not smart enough to think of anything creative, and I'm just going to go with some lazy, dumb argument or reasoning saying, hey, no. What happens is you just keep it within you. So I felt like that was a lame concept. Personally, I would have just kept it with the ritual, saying you have to get a ritual for at least Super Saiyan God, and the godly ki, they could have done something more special with it, saying like, I don't know what they could have done, but like they could have done something more, they could have been like, you have to be in the realm, the godly realm with the dimension of the god ki and stuff like this. They could have done something better than just control your ki and keep it within you. Also, what the hell does that mean? Keep it from your body leaking? Like, even when they do have Super Saiyan God, power and the godly ki, they still let that energy leak out. You still see an aura around them. You still see them shooting that energy out into the sky and stuff. So technically, it's still not even contained anyway. So I don't know what's the difference. And like I said, I don't know why that would be so hard. They made it sound like it was a complex thing, but Goku and Vegeta should have been smart enough to do this. Not even them, but the rest of the characters too. So that was one of the concepts that I always thought was kind of dumb. Now the tingly back feeling thingy, this one is easy to go through. I've talked about this before, and many of us have. This is just dumb in general. To turn something as cool and epic as being angry enough that you lost somebody that you care about, like with Goku, he lost Krillin, or something like Vegeta, where he felt like he just couldn't measure up to Kakarot and he just couldn't accept it, and he mentally broke to the point that he lost his mind and had literally a mental breakdown, and that's how he obtained it. And then Gohan having to be trained by Goku and saying, hey, look, think of Frieza killing us all, think of Frieza murking us, and he had to go through that heartache just to bring that power out. But now you just have tingly feeling in your back. And some people try to argue for this and try to make some excuses like geekdom, saying shit like, "Oh, but you know it makes sense in Taoist, tradition, and you know when it comes to the chi and stuff, it's in your back." No, it's not. It's literally in the center of your body, like your navel. So it's like where your belly button is and stuff. It's basically your center mass. That's where your energy comes from. And technically, scientifically, that is kind of correct. Your center mass is where most of your power comes from your body. But yeah, it's not from your back. It's really from your center mass. But even if we want to go with that, it doesn't change the fact that this sounds stupid and corny. You went from something that's epic and badass to something that's kiddish and girly as tingly feeling in your back. That's some pussy shit. But just itself, it was pretty lame. They didn't need to do that. We already had a solid concept. Now you ruined that concept of obtaining power through pure raw aggression, and not just getting normally angry, but like to the highest order and having a certain level of power. You went from something cool to that to something lame like this. This was just a whack ass concept. It just made it look goofy, and made it look like something. It was girlish. It was like some girly ass pussy shit. Like there's no other way for me to describe it besides it sounded like a pussy. You went from very tough manly shit to little girly pussy shit, and I don't like that. Then let's talk about. I'm trying to remember because I did list off a couple of the other stuff. Then just them obtaining new transformations, and I don't have a problem with them like people like Trunks or Kale obtaining new transformations, but they were able to obtain different Super Saiyan transformations we've never seen before simply by getting angry, which I feel like that's lazy. Also, it's like you can't just give them these new transformations that don't go with what we've seen before, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, or Ascended Super Saiyan and as the fans dubbed it, Ultra Super Saiyan or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's just called Grade 3, right? Those were the regular transformations. We got explanations in that. But we've never got an explanation for Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball, but Super Saiyan Rage and Super Saiyan Berserk. And I don't think we ever will. I don't know where these transformations came from. The concept of just them getting angry and unlocking different Super Saiyan transformations makes no sense. At least when later on with, the Granola arc with Vegeta obtaining Ultra Ego, which I like the concept of Ultra Ego with thinking through a pure mind of destruction, but also needing a certain level of power and then being trained by a god of destruction. I think that's a cool concept that they have, so I'll give them props for that one. But like for at least when he went to his different avenue with his power there, instead of having Ultra Instinct, they explained a different concept and why. But this one, they didn't even explain anything, and him obtaining, Blue Evolution, it's like, I get it, you need to give him a power, but at least just explain some shit, Don't just be like, he gets angry, so he unlocks a different Super Saiyan transformation, which Goku doesn't get. What? And like they did good for Goku because he had the Kaioken times 10 and 20 and stuff multiplied on top of his Super Saiyan Blue. He explained that Super Saiyan Blue is tranquil and what's the thing called? Kaioken requires you to have great mastery and control. And Super Saiyan it wouldn't really work because it's more like wild and aggressive. So I thought that concept was great. I'm not saying that all the concepts that they had throughout Dragon Ball Super was dog shit because they had some really solid ones. But if I'm being honest, like the whole point of this video, the reason why I'm talking about it is because majority of their concepts that they had for them getting stronger were dumb. Not all of them, like I said, but a lot of them were, okay? So that one I did not like either. And then we get into Ultra Instinct. Now, some of you guys might disagree with me on this part, and I get it, but for me personally, Ultra Instinct, I think is kind of lame. What is it? Basically, it is, in simple terms and in real life terms, it is just you basically getting into the zone and what's that thing called? Just like having your reflexes come in. Muscle memory is basically just that. It's just muscle memory and getting into the zone. So we see this a lot with other athletes in the real world itself. Obviously not to the extent as we've seen in Dragon Ball because it's anime. They usually go over the top with these concepts that are in real life. But for what's the thing called? For that in real life, the way we obtain it is let's say you do training, you're training for a sport or for fighting, and you do the same move over and over and over again, repetition, the more you repeat it, the more your body's gonna, remember it, and as it remembers it, it's gonna be easier for you to do it. So let's say for fighting example, since this is gonna mostly pertain to fighting, right? If you are boxing and you train in throwing jabs, hooks, crosses, uppercuts, overhand rights, if you keep on repeating those same movements, you're going to kind of get it embedded into your mind and into your body on, these movements. And it has been also shown with boxers. I think Deontay Wilder explained in one of his press conferences, he stated that when he was knocked unconscious at one point, when he was fighting against, I think, Tyson Fury, he said as he was knocked unconscious, he was still doing the motions like he was normally when he had his consciousness. He just wasn't he didn't know that what was happening, but he was still doing the motions. And the reason why he was able to do it, he explained, was since we do this so much, it basically muscle memory, and through sheer muscle memory alone, even though I was unconscious, my body was able to react and know what to do because of all the repetitions throughout the training. So we've seen this in real life, and Dragon Ball just took that, but they took it to the highest level. And some of you guys are saying, what's wrong with that? Personally, I feel like for characters like Dragon Ball characters, they should be far and above and beyond us as humans in concept. So if humans can obtain kind of an Ultra Instinct type of state in reality, then something like in Dragon Ball where these characters are highly leveled, trained people, this should not be hard for them. It should be easy for them. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, this is to the highest level. Yeah, but Goku and Vegeta have always fought to the highest level anyway. But when Goku and Vegeta were training, they acted like they've never done this before, like their bodies aren't used to responding naturally. And I'm not saying every time. They did show some glimpse with Goku moving back when Beerus was going to attack him. That was a bit of a foreshadowing, but that is still low level stuff. I've seen real professional fighters show a higher level of muscle memory, because that's what it basically is, muscle memory, than Goku and Vegeta before they were training with Whis, because Whis had to specifically train them for that and work hard, and Vegeta still hasn't obtained it. Goku has mastered it, but then they changed the concept again, which, like I said, I'll be talking about that too. But you would think that somebody as good as Goku and Vegeta would be better than real life fighters. They would be whatever a real life fighter can do, Goku and Vegeta should be able to do it even easier, right? But they weren't. They had to be trained properly to do it. So I just feel like it's dumb. And we've seen this before with Goku when he was on Namek and he was getting attacked by Burter and Jace. Vegeta literally mentioned something. It isn't fully to this, but he did mention a little bit. When they were attacking him, you don't even see Goku moving, but he was dodging. You see his movements a little bit with his feet pushing around on the ground. And basically Vegeta really pretty much stated that through his sheer will and his I think he said eternally, what happened was apparently since Goku was training on his ki control, he trained on it so much that naturally his body was able to lower his ki instantly and then rise it up instantly. So when they were trying to pick up his energy signature through the scouters, every time that he was just standing there, he kept his energy level low, so it was so he looked weak. But whenever they tried to attack him or he tried to attack them, he would raise it up instantly, hit them, and then lower it back down quick, so fast that the scouters couldn't even pick up, and this was just happening through him naturally. He wasn't even thinking about it. It happened naturally. Now this is a little bit different, but it is kind of similar to Ultra Instinct. Now, like I said, the concept is still pretty lame to me that all it is basically he just trained so much through physically that his body knows what to do in a fight, that he doesn't need the response from his brain to know what to do. It just responds accordingly to what it's been going through because it's dealt with this, right? But they went to the side where it makes them even faster and whatever. Not obviously your response time will be faster, but to an insane extent, right? So why is that dumb? Like I said, we see this concept in real life, and we've seen athletes do this in real life. So the fact that Goku and Vegeta had to be trained, especially Goku to this extent, just to obtain it, it isn't that impressive. If we can do it as humans, then Goku and Vegeta should be able to easily do this, but they're not. So it's not that crazy to me. I feel like it's not one of those concepts that's dumb because it's a real concept, but I just feel like it's well, they're beyond this. They should be way past, something that's conventionally impressive to us humans. We shouldn't be some higher standard, you know? Because a lot of people stated that what's so special about Ultra Instinct, we do this in real life too. You see this with athletes all the time, and I can't argue against that. That is true. The only difference is they made it more anime-like where it's over the top, right? But besides that, it's basically just the same thing as what we do in real life, but Goku and Vegeta have trained forever, and you would think that they would have had at least some of that or understand it more, but they're acting like novices. And that's one of the problems with these training methods and these concepts is they explain these very overly simple things and they make it sound like they're complex, but they're not. And it just ends up making Goku and Vegeta look like idiots. It's like, dude, you guys fought for so long. How do you not know this? How do you not have any form of muscle memory? How are you and Goku struggling to have any muscle memory? This shouldn't be that impressive. So yeah, I think Ultra Instinct is a lame technique. I think it looks cool. I think the design looks cool. What he's capable of doing, it looks cool. But the concept itself, I think, is pretty lame. It's just basically muscle memory, but amped up. That's it. Then going to what was the next one I wanted to talk about? I'm not going to talk about Broly because he didn't have any real concepts. It was just him getting stronger because, you know, he's the natural. I think it was he was just the legendary Super Saiyan, right? And he had a naturally high power level. That's what I meant. He had a naturally high power level, and he's a not protege. What is the word? Prodigy. They use that too much also in Dragon Ball Super. Everybody's apparently a prodigy. That's like that word just was thrown out easily. This character got a power up because he's a prodigy. That character got a power up because he's a prodigy. Also, I think that's a little concept I want to talk about a little bit in this video. I might make a whole video separate on the whole prodigy thing with modern day Dragon Ball and how they kind of overused it and it was a lazy cop out. But basically, when we had characters like, you know, Frieza or Kale or Trunks or this character or that character getting stronger, right? The argument or the statement that they used was they're a prodigy. So we don't have to go in depth into explaining why they're able to obtain this crazy power. It's simply they're a prodigy and they can obtain any power that they want to if they put, you know, some effort into it or have some emotion in it. That's so stupid. So I hate the whole prodigy concept too. Just he's a prodigy, so that's how he's able to get stronger. Frieza got so strong and was able to surpass all of his power because he's a prodigy and he's never trained before. Trunks was able to get this strong because he's a prodigy and him just getting angry gives him this power. Kale can do this because she's a prodigy and just needed a tingly feeling in her back and get angry. That's all. Broly's a prodigy. He just needed to fight somebody who's stronger and he was able to get stronger by millions of times. Like, that's just dumb. So that's just a little bit of rant I want to go on the prodigy thing. The other thing I want to talk about is obviously the whole concept from Vegeta stating that Jiren wasn't stronger than us. He was just meditating and he knew how to control his energy more. Once again, you guys already obtained Godly Ki, so you would have already know how to control it. Second of all, it's not true. That's just flat out wrong. Jiren was just blatantly stronger than them. It wasn't because he knew how to control his energy better and was, you know, more mindful and this and that. It was simply he was stronger. Goku, like, by that logic, it's stating that basically means that Ultra Instinct, like Master Ultra Instinct, wasn't stronger. It didn't make Goku stronger. All it did was make his mind, you know, more focused. That's all he needed. Better focus. The better focus he needed, that made him surpass him. That's not true. Jiren was naturally just stronger than them. He was more powerful than them. It was pure physical strength. Not saying that he was purely physical strength. He obviously had the whole mental training, but that added to his physical strength. And we already know that psychic training does work because from what we've seen is Ki is comprised of vigor, courage, and mind. Mind, basically you train your mind. So I've already explained in the you know, Ki explaining Ki video. I talked about how like Ki to increase their Ki level, they have to train physically, spiritually, and mentally. So we've seen them mentally train, and like I said, Goku's done it before, Piccolo's done it countless times. It was stupid to say that for Goku, but that kind of showcases where the mindset of Toriyama, Toyotaro, and the rest of Toei Animation's mind is when it comes to Goku, and also even Vegeta, because Vegeta they try to make him sound like he's a genius, but it's like, dude, you're not saying anything special. We fucking knew this forever. You should have known this. Are you like a dumbass or something? Like, how the hell did you just realize now that you know, meditation and mental training will improve your power? Like, you guys been doing this. It's nothing new. it's like we revert back and then we're just supposed to pretend that yeah, no, this is something special. No, it's not. It's so fucking generic. What? But like I said, we've seen Goku do this, so it's like, why are they making it special now? And they made Goku an idiot, and that was one of the problems that a lot of people had. Is like, why is he saying this? He knows that this is true, and like, why are they making him dumb? But this just showcases their mindset. They think we're so stupid that we don't understand these concepts, even though they were explained all the way back in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, even though they've been explained countless times throughout other animes. They think we're so stupid that we don't understand these concepts and how they work, so they try to pull a fast one on us and revert all these concepts that have been well known back and then bring them in and say, isn't this interesting? If you control your ki, you get stronger. Isn't this interesting? If you fucking, mental training, it can also improve you physically instead of just physical training. Did you know that if you were to train a lot physically and stuff, your body naturally would be able to respond? It's like, you're giving us like these easy ass simple baby concepts and then try to make it sound like it's some complex crazy thing. It's not. So like I said, this is just a representation of how they view us as idiots that don't understand these stuff. It's like, this is simple. You're trying to make it sound more complex than it is. And it just ends up making Goku and Vegeta look dumb. Vegeta's like, you idiot. It's like, yeah, Goku's an idiot, but you're one too. You've never trained mentally before. We literally had Gohan and Krillin having mental training before this. Hell, even in Dragon Ball Super they did this. We had fucking Trunks. He was mentally training to the point where he was bleeding from his mouth. He was training against, he was doing this whole battle scenario versus Goku Black, right? He was training and he was fighting him. And he bled from his mouth. So he was also doing this before. And now they're telling us, no. We've never seen them do this before. This is something new. They just figured it out now. Complete retardation. And then even the dumber stuff. Oh, yeah. Jiren wasn't stronger. He just meditated and was mentally more sound and he knew how to control his ki more. No, you fucking dumbass. He was simply just stronger. What the hell kind of bullshit is this? Now, let's go into the final concept that I wanted to talk about that I felt like it was dumb. And that was True Ultra Instinct. I don't like this concept. I know in the manga it was different. Goku never showed that anger and aggression throughout, Master Ultra Instinct. But it kind of made Master Ultra Instinct pointless because now you're saying, well, Master Ultra Instinct requires, it's stronger and is perfected, but it requires you to have no emotion, which means your power can increase. But in True Ultra Instinct, which is basically just regular Ultra Instinct, you can increase it with your anger. Then why did you have Master Ultra Instinct in there in the first place? Why even bring up this concept of absence of mind, absence of emotions and anger, if you're just gonna bring the emotions and anger back in? You're saying we're gonna get rid of these emotions, but now getting rid of the emotions doesn't make you stronger; it just hinders them. So we're gonna bring back emotions. That's so dumb. It's like we went forward, then we went backward. Why? I really felt like the Ultra Instinct concept was kind of lame to begin with. It's just, like I said, muscle memory, but they're trying to make it sound like it's more crazier. It's like, okay, Goku and Vegeta should have been able to know how to do this, right? But now they're like, no. We don't want to fully go with that anymore. We're going back to just him using anger and power, but he also, has his body reacting a little bit more. It's just such a dumb concept. They didn't need True Ultra Instinct. I think we could have done without this. All they had to do was just say, hey, Master Ultra Instinct, you can apparently get angry now. Just keep it like how they did in the anime. Nobody felt like, oh wait, Goku's mad? This is dumb. This doesn't make any sense. We didn't care. People actually got hyped up. I got hyped. I was like, damn, that looks cool as shit. So we didn't need that. We don't need True Ultra Instinct. Hopefully in the anime adaptation they don't put that shit in because it's just a dumb concept to begin with. Oh, yeah. You can't have emotions in that, but we need emotions to make them stronger. But then we also said not having emotions makes them stronger, but now we're going back. It's just dumb. I don't like it. And like I said, this is why I don't like that, because now you're kind of in a position where it's like, well, should we make it where Goku, is just solely, calm and peaceful and lets his body do his work and doesn't, have any emotions in the fight? Or do we just have Goku still have emotions in the fight and, also have him do that? So that was just dumb. So those are all the training methods and concepts throughout Dragon Ball. And like I said, hopefully you guys kind of understand more what I was talking about in this video, what the whole purpose of this video was. It was just for me to go through the writing and talk about the concepts of these stuff. Because one of the most important things when it comes to these Battle Shonen animes is when these characters get an insane power up is how did they get it? What did they need to do to obtain it? What was special? What was unique to do it? We need something that is very deep, very creative, something that is, a little more complex. It doesn't have to be super complex, but something cool concept that is unique. But we don't get that with Dragon Ball Super. And also, I want to talk about another concept, and that was like Frieza and how he got stronger. It was simply he just used his own subordinate as a fucking punching bag, and then got stronger from that. Which I also thought that was kind of stupid. It's like, yeah, if you fight and spar, you're gonna get stronger, but also it doesn't make sense that you sparring against somebody way weaker than you would make you stronger. Wouldn't you have to spar against somebody that's... Because usually if you want to get stronger and improve, you should spar against somebody who's on your level or better. If you're sparring with somebody who's way weaker than you, you're not going to really gain that much. So that was also just dumb. On one hand, it's like, no shit. On the other hand, it's like, well, that's also kind of dumb and doesn't make any sense. So yeah. I just think that they really dropped the ball. I think they should have had a more creative way to obtain Super Saiyan God transformation if you wanted to go outside the confines of the ritual. Made Super Saiyan, made God Ki more special, made the way to obtain God Ki more complex, more creative, more intriguing. They should have never done the tingly back thing. That was not necessary. Stop giving these characters random different Super Saiyan transformations and different avenues without ever going without going in and explaining how they obtained this. Like, how the fuck does he just get Super Saiyan Rage just by getting angry? I get it's in the name, but it's like, why did Goku and Vegeta get it? They get mad all the time too. What was so special about him? So it's like, don't do that anymore. That was dumb. Then when we go to the Tournament of Power itself, with the whole Goku Ultra Instinct thingy, I felt like it was just, nothing special. I'm not going to say it's completely awful concept, but I just feel like it's not that crazy of a concept. Then with the whole meditation thing, I think they should have never put in those lines. That just made both the characters look dumb and the writing look stupid. And then the Prodigy thing, that's a lazy cop-out. I hate it. And the True Ultra Instinct thingy, very unnecessary. It just made shit go ass backwards and it was pointless. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for next time.